There is a version of you that exists beyond who you've been told to be, beyond the expectations, beyond the opinions, beyond the mistakes, beyond the roles you've carried for other people. And sometimes becoming who you were created to be begins with something very simple: getting honest about who you are. For many of us, life has taught us how to adapt long before it taught us how to understand ourselves. We learn how to make people happy. We learn how to fit in. We learn what gets us accepted and what gets us rejected. We learn when to speak and when to remain quiet. We learn how to become what is needed in the moment. And somewhere along the way, we can become so good at being everything everyone else needs that we lose touch with the person we were becoming all along. But adaptation is not the same thing as identity. You can become successful and still not know yourself. You can be loved by many people and still struggle to love who you are. You can accomplish things and still feel like something is missing. You can look like you're moving forward while inwardly wondering, is this really who I'm supposed to be? That question is always a sign that something is wrong. Sometimes it is the beginning of something right. Sometimes the discomfort you feel is an invitation to grow, an invitation to examine your life, an invitation to stop living solely from expectation and start living from intention. So, I want you to ask yourself, who are you becoming? That question is deeper than asking what you want to accomplish. It asks who you want to be while you're accomplishing it. Do you want to become more peaceful, more disciplined, more courageous, more honest, more compassionate, more confident, more spiritually grounded, more intentional? Because your life isn't only being shaped by the things you achieve, it is being shaped by the person you become while pursuing them. Every decision participates in your becoming. Every habit participates in your becoming. Every boundary participates in your becoming. Every thought you repeatedly believe participates in your becoming. Every time you choose growth over comfort, something within you changes. Becoming is not one dramatic transformation that happens overnight. It is often quiet. It happens in ordinary moments. It happens when nobody is watching. It happens when you choose not to respond the way you used to. It happens when you finally say no. It happens when you get back up after disappointing yourself. It happens when you decide that your past will teach you instead of imprison you. You are allowed to become. You are allowed to grow beyond old versions of yourself. You are allowed to change. You are allowed to raise your standards. You are allowed to discover new gifts. You are allowed to pursue something you once thought was impossible. You are allowed to become someone your younger self couldn't yet imagine. And perhaps most importantly, you are allowed to become the person you are created to be, not the person everyone else decided you should be. The world will always have suggestions for you for who you should become. Be more successful, be more attractive, be more impressive, be more acceptable, be more like someone else. But becoming is not about becoming more acceptable to the world. It is about becoming more aligned with the truth of who you were created to be. That requires courage. Because sometimes becoming yourself means disappointing people who benefited from the version of you who had no boundaries. Sometimes it means leaving behind habits that once helped you cope. Sometimes it means admitting that the life you built no longer fits the person you are becoming. Sometimes it means starting over. And starting over doesn't mean you failed. Sometimes it means you finally became honest enough to begin again. So don't ask yourself only, what do I want? Ask, who do I want to become? Then ask an even deeper question. Who was I created to be? Those questions can change the direction of your life. Because once you begin becoming intentionally, your choices begin to change. Your relationships may change. Your habits may change. Your priorities may change. Your boundaries may change. Your relationship with yourself may change. And eventually you may look around at your life and realize, I didn't just change my circumstances, I changed me. That is what this journey is about. Not perfection, not pretending, not becoming someone else, becoming who you were created to be. And it starts here with the decision to stop merely existing as the person life shaped you. As the person life shaped. And begin intentionally becoming the person you were created to be.